Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have my 2015 Alfa Romeo 4C. Now, if you follow the channel, you know that I bought this about a week ago. Well, depending on when you see this video. And yeah, this one's all mine. I didn't rent this one. I did rent one, and I gave you a tour of that one. But now I'm going to give you a tour of mine. So without further ado, let's get the drone up. Now here we are, 2015 Alfa Romeo 4C. Now again, if you guys follow me on the channel, you know that I rented one off of Turo, and because of that rental from Turo, I then fell in love with the Alfa Romeo 4C and I started shopping for one. And again, if you saw my last video where I announced that I bought this vehicle, you know that it was something that it took about a week's worth of time for me to find this car, and it was almost a last minute find because I was gonna go to Arizona to check out two different Alfa Romeo 4Cs, and I was also thinking of buying a private one in Texas, which probably would have been a bad idea. Now it would have been the cheapest out of all of them, but it would have been probably one, it might have not been mechanically the smartest thing to do, just because it wasn't from a dealership. I had no one to check it out for me, and I would have had to driven it back all the way from Texas, if not ship it. Just a lot of work if I would have ended up going to the one in Texas. And of course, some of you may know at this moment in time, hurricanes and all kinds of stuff going on in Texas. So I hope everyone there is doing well, if you're watching from there, or even if you have family there like we do. So anyways, I was about to fly out to Arizona and check out two of them. Then I found this one last minute here in the Bay Area, and I got a great deal for it, and I was able to negotiate a bit down to the price I was comfortable with. And I've been blessed enough where I can actually just straight out buy this car. So this one is not finance, it is mine, all mine, and I cannot wait till you guys see the build I have for this one. But for now, we'll check it out the way it is, completely stock, because stock on this car is a lot. Now, I did go to a Cars and Coffee today, and one of the biggest things that people trip off of or are amazed at is the carbon fiber tub. Now again, if you follow me, you've seen this in my other review of the one I rented off of Turo. But yeah, this entire chassis, which they call the carbon fiber tub, the entire thing is made out of carbon fiber, and I believe it alone only weighs about 150 or so pounds, definitely under 200 pounds, but it's strong. It's carbon fiber, right? The entire vehicle itself only weighs about 2 grand. So it is a super lightweight car. When people find out that the engine is only under 300 horsepower, turbocharged, and it's only a 4-cylinder, people are like, wow. But it's the weight, right? The weight is what makes this reach a 0 to 60 in about 4.1 seconds, which is faster than my Porsche. Again, I'll head out to the front and again show you guys, like I did in my last review, the Alfa Romeo, the infamous triangle. And this is something you'll see on every Alfa Romeo, including their sedan and also their SUV. Going with the headlights, this is not the launch edition. So I'm still learning a lot about these cars. From my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, the launch edition, which they decided to come out with last minute, had sort of like a vent down here, which this one does not. Also, this one has your your headlights with the carbon fiber inside, whereas I believe, I'm not completely sure, the launch edition is a completely different headlight. I'll try to throw a picture right here of what that might look like. Again, if you're not familiar with this car, it is a mid-engine car, and just like my Porsche, you do have a trunk, but you do not have a frunk like the Porsche does, like my Boxster does. This inside here, and I'll try to get photos of what this looks like underneath. This is not something that I can open up. This is not, there's no latch or anything like that. Again, I'm still learning about it, but I do understand that when mechanics work on this and they do a full service, this completely comes off, and there are some things in here underneath, but there is definitely not something that I can access. There's nothing in there for me to go and look at on my own. Alfa Romeo 4C has one windshield wiper for the entire windshield, and something that I learned that I haven't had to deal with yet is that down in here through this grill and with the tube is how you fill the washer fluid, which is crazy. It's not something I've had to do yet. Obviously, I've only had this car for a week, but that's something I found out online. So pretty interesting quirk, as Doug DeMuro would say. Now here we got these beautiful, what I think are probably the nicest stock rims you could get on the Alfa Romeo 4C. Mine are already dirty after just 2 days of driving it. I swear this, maybe 3 days. But yeah, this could just get cleaned right off with a pressure washer. Now the original owner opted, now this is an option to get the yellow brake calipers, which in my opinion are beautiful. The red is probably would have been my choice, but to be honest, I'm glad that the original owner went with the yellow, because it's something I probably would have been a little bit hesitant to get, but now that I see it, I think it's a really good look for the car, and I'm glad he did it. The other thing that's an option that the original owner got is these carbon fiber mirrors. Again, this is something I would have absolutely done for sure, 100%, as I'm trying to scratch away what that might be right there. Not sure if that was there before. Hope nothing hit this, but anyways, yeah, going along to the side, you have in here, again, this is not something I am completely familiar with what it is, but I definitely know that the other side is not exact. I mean, the shape and everything on the other side is like this, but the other side is a radiator. I don't know if this is some sort of outlet or intake, because I think the intake is actually at the bottom on the other side. Now coming across here, you got the gas tank, and it does not have a cap. It just, you just go right in there and insert it in. I like the little touch. I don't know if you guys can see, but the Alfa Romeo sign is actually around it, so pretty neat. Kind of a weird place to have it, not traditional to most of your cars, and again, getting gas somewhere over here might be a problem, but I love the way it looks. Overall, it's awesome. Again, with the yellow calipers in the back, you got these grill vents here, so this is exposed to the elements. Yeah, it does let out a lot of heat, but at the same time, if it were to rain or when I am washing the car, water does get in here, but that's okay, because it's just a matter of opening it up and giving it a nice pressure wash and wiping it down, and it's all good to go. I love the fact that you could actually see the engine, as opposed to the Boxster that came in where you cannot see it. It's not exposed. On this one, it most certainly is, and I think this is one of the main reasons I wanted this car. Obviously, is for the looks. It's the carbon fiber tub along with the engine that you could actually see is something that's so eye-catching to a lot of people. The tail lights, very reminiscent of a Ferrari. The Alfa Romeo logo just looking so beautiful, something that here in the United States a lot of people do not recognize or know, so they're just, who makes Alfa Romeo? And I'm like, Alfa Romeo, who's that? Alfa Romeo. I don't know what to say. It's Alfa Romeo, you know. You got a tiny bit of a spoiler here, which we are going to change. The dual exhaust, which I don't know, let me know in your comments what you think, because the exhaust sounds great in my opinion. I don't know if I want to go carbon fiber tips or find out if the dealership, because I know it was an option when you could buy it, but obviously I bought this used, but I know Akrapovic makes one through Alfa Romeo. You can't get it from Akrapovic, but through Alfa Romeo, and I'll throw a picture here to show you the Akrapovic carbon fiber exhaust comes right out the middle. There's another exhaust system that you could get right out the middle as well, and usually the conversion kits are super simple to do, and even comes with the grill where the opening is in the middle, and it covers up the sides where the original ones are. So that's something I am still thinking about doing, not a for sure. Again, some beautiful vintage here, and this is all functional. The intake I was telling you guys about is right in here. So my understanding of that is this carbon fiber piece is the intake, and over here we'll open up the back, and the only way you can do it is with opening this latch right there, and you don't have any access to this with a key fob or anything like that. So this is what you get, a trunk. The trunk did have a cover, which I know is a $400 option, so that's pretty cool. It's an indoor cover, but most times I won't have this cover up. Most times I won't. The engine right in there, and you could see the carbon fiber even through here as well. This engine cover is going to change. I'm going to get something nicer. I'm going to go inside, and getting inside, it may not show on here, but you could see the space here. And if you want to compare it to my foot, the amount of gap I'm trying to get from here to there is definitely interesting. And the best way to do it is to get one footed and then kind of slide in, grab the other foot in, and then you got this nice little leather strap to pull the car door closed. You got your airbag here. There's no kind of storage in there. Again, carbon fiber completely exposed. And we'll just kind of work our way to the passenger side. You got your buttons here to work on the settings within the gauges, the all screen gauge. You got an air vent here, the beautiful red stitching that goes throughout. Your steering wheel, which I love. You guys, if you follow me, you know I love the flat bottom steering wheel. It makes it easier. You don't hit your legs so much, and it feels nice when you're driving it. This is all wrapped in leather, for the exception of the top, which is actually like a micro suede or Alcantara, which also feels really nice. Now the steering wheel is something that I'm also considering changing out. Still the stock steering wheel, but maybe with some more Alcantara and some really nice carbon fiber, but we have yet to see if that's going to happen for sure, but it is definitely something I'm thinking about. The stereo, this is the Parrot stereo that comes stock with the car. Now they don't have their own stereo per se. The newer ones came with an Alpine stereo, and if you remember the 1990s, the whole pull out and the face off stereos, just imagine something like that. That's what this is. I have already ordered a stereo for this, and I'll show you guys when that comes in, and I'll show you the install and all that, but it's something that should fit perfect. If you're not a Romeo person, you probably already know which stereo I'm talking about when I say it fits perfect and sticks out a bit. So yeah, that's coming soon. Down in here, if you don't know, if you're not familiar with this car, now this is automatic dual clutch transmission, and it does not have your traditional lever of any sort. Instead, this has these buttons, and I'll just go through them really quick. The AM is either automatic mode or manual. Manual is where you can use the paddle shifters. Since it doesn't have any kind of shifter at all, your only option for a manual is to use the paddle shifters. So that's what the A and the M mean. Now the number one is actually like your drive, your N is obviously your neutral, and your R is obviously your reverse. There is no parking, as you notice. So when you do go to park, you actually have to press N for neutral and then just use your handbrake, and there you are. That's it. Now the best way to describe the feeling of this car, it's like, imagine it being like a manual transmission, except someone is shifting for you. Now, you could argue that that is what an automatic, true automatic car feels like, but it's honestly, you got to be a manual transmission driving person to understand what I'm saying about this. It's not the same feeling as a traditional automatic transmission. And I'll give you one example, and that is when you're driving an automatic car and you go to let off, like it's in drive, and you let off the brake, the car is moving. This car does not do that. This car will not move unless you press the gas, and that's reverse, forward, whatever. Now if you're on a slanted hill or anything like that, just like in a manual transmission, this thing will roll in whatever direction gravity is taking it. So try to imagine that. I don't know how else best to describe it. Hopefully some of you understand. If you don't, you need to rent one of these or buy one of these. Try it out. Going back to the center, you have the mirror adjustments, your windows, your hazard button, and then in here, this is pretty awesome. You guys know Germs DNA, that's my channel, and it just so happens that the different modes happen to be DNA. Now DNA, D is dynamic, it would be like your sport mode. N is like your normal mode. I believe they call it natural, but it's basically normal mode. That's where I'm keeping it pretty much most of the time. Dynamic is pretty intense. And A is all weather, so this would be like when it's wet out, just kind of probably just like my motorcycle, just like my Ducati. I think what this does is then it probably raises up the ABS and the traction control, and it lowers the power and things like that. That's what I'm thinking that does mostly. But yeah, that keeps you safe in the wet. Your e-brake here. Now you do have two cup holders. Now keep in mind, these two cup holders are tiny. This is a medium-sized coffee here in the US, and yeah, there's a little wobbliness to it, but not the most impressive cup holder. There's one that's slightly bigger up here. Again, nothing too crazy. You have an outlet here to charge certain items, and back here you have this little cubby, which I could barely stick my hand in, but I keep my sunglasses in there, and it looks pretty. It has a nice little buckle, and it's leather. Here you could also see some of the exposure of the carbon fiber, and back in here you have your wall window seeing throughout the engine, and back to the other window and the grille. Something very super car-ish in my opinion. Yes. So going down in here, on the passenger side, you got this beautiful metal that says 4C Alfa Romeo. No glove box at all, so this, again, it lacks storage, but there is sort of like this kind of like a leather little pouch that I don't think everyone knows about, and I do have like a USB and auxiliary port sticking out of there. But once again, once I change the stereo, that may or may not be relevant. We'll see. This beautiful metal plate on the floor, which also says 4C. I should show you the pedals here because they are metal and they are sort of mounted on the floor, which is very super car-ish, race car-ish. I keep saying ish. Going over here, same thing, carbon fiber exposed throughout, and you just have your airbag, your strap, and no storage at all. But that's pretty much it. Well, that's gonna do it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed the tour of my 2015 Alfa Romeo 4C. There's a lot of things to come for sure. Just gonna be transparent with you guys. A vinyl wrap is to come next month, and the stereo should be in soon, and also some carbon fiber bits and parts that are also on the way. And who knows what else. The steering wheel, I would love for that to happen, but I'm not completely sure if that's going to happen. We'll see. And just a lot of fun with this car. I'm truly blessed to have it. It's a beautiful car, such a fun car to drive. If you like the video, give that a thumbs up, comment, share with anyone that might like this type of content. Please subscribe and also hit the notification bell so you know when a new video comes out, and look out for any other videos that I have coming out with this car very soon. And yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later.